welcome to another edition of Kogi in Focus, a weekly program that brings to you happenings in and around Kogi, Nigeria's confluent state. I'm Oluwatosin Osuji. In our package today, Governor Bello marks 3 years in office. Various groups celebrate him. Zone 8 Police Command trained her officers on the coming election in Lokoja, Kogi State. We also have a short highlight of Governor Bello's achievements within the last 3 years. These and many more when we return. Don't go away. The Zone 8 Command of the Nigerian Police, in collaboration with High-Tech Security Services and Training Limited, organized a 2-day capacity building training on democratic policing and election security management for officers and men of the police in Lokoja, the Kogi State capital. Deputy Commissioner of Police, Benga Sadiku, who represented the Assistant Inspector of Police, Zone 8 Command, encouraged participants to pay attention to the training and acquire the needed skill to deliver violence-free elections.
To the participants, while you are here, take note of all the lectures so that when you go back to your various commands, you will return back the same another police personnel to your commands.
Chairman of the Kogi State chapter of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, Adeize Momojimo, said the training has come at the right time.
We are there to cover the election or to give security. The personnel that are going to be there are also there to perform their own duty. So there's no need for any problem between the police and the press.
The retired commissioner and the police public relations officer said the training became imperative to make officers and men familiar with digital methods of monitoring election activity.
The police are ready, and they're not working alone, working in concert with other agencies of government, INEC, other security agencies, to make sure that everybody does what he ought to do, and that whoever does what he ought not to do will face the illegal music.
It's actually timing and it's enriching, and I believe with this knowledge acquired or impacted on the police personnel come across Kogi, Kwara and Ekiti, this general election is going to be credible.
The training participants highlighted the benefits of the program.
Very, very enlightening, and it's one of those things that we are expected to continue in the Nigerian police.
It's a very enlightening and educative one. I've learned so many things on how to conduct a very good and proper election without any cost or anything, being a security agent.
We expected that the police officer should be neutral, impartial, and be professional in the discharge of their duties.
Zone 8 of the Nigerian police comprises of commands in Ekiti, Kwara, and Kogi states. Retired commissioners of police, Akinwale Abayomi, Ernest Ubasi, and Emmanuel Ojuku were also at the training program. Organized labor in Kogi State has called on the federal government to release a sum of 30.8 billion naira, being the amount of outstanding from the 50.8 billion naira approved by the federal government as bailouts for workers in the state public service. Chairman of the Kogi State chapter of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Onu Edoka, said the bailout fund was approved when Idris Wada was governor, but only 20 billion naira was released when Yahaya Bello assumed office.
Present government of Alhaji Yahaya Bello was only able to access 20 billion of the fund, leaving the balance of 30.8 billion. The non-release of the fund has put the workers of Kogi State, most especially local government workers and primary school teachers, at a very precarious state where they cannot meet the basic need of human beings.
Edoka, who briefed journalists at the NLC House, Lokoja, said if the balance is released, state workers' salary arrears will no longer be an issue.
As of today, majority of the state workers are owed 5 months' salary arrears, while those who got late clearance from the screening exercise have various months of backlog of arrears.
They applauded Governor Bello's efforts at providing security needed infrastructure and key utilities, but said the good work may remain unnoticed if salaries are not paid.
It is in the light of this that the organized labor in Kogi State passionately appeal to the federal government to release the sum of 30.8 billion, being the balance of the approved 50.8 billion, to enable the state government settle the backlog of arrears owed to the teachers and the local government workers, respectively.
The Labour leader described Kogi State workers as law-abiding and supportive of the government, adding that the support should be reciprocated by the payment of their long overdue salary arrears. The Kogi State capital, Lokoja, witnessed what many have described as an experience of uncommon spiritual upliftment when the General Overseer of Mountain of Fire and Miracles Ministry, Pastor Daniel Kolawole Olukoya, visited Lokoja to pray for the state and dedicate a newly constructed worship center. Pastor Olukoya called on the people and the government to have faith in God's ability to meet their needs.
The awesome God, the God who doeth all things, has no respect for your age when he wants to bless you. He just opens the door. There's nothing anybody can do about it. No matter the dimension of the power, no matter where they got the power from, when you confront the God that doeth all things, it will defeat you. I'm praying for somebody here. All those powers that have vowed not to allow you to move forward, after this meeting, they shall be disgraced.
He also prayed for the sick who attended the meeting.
Your testimony shall give birth to other testimony. In the name of Jesus. Your miracle shall give birth to other miracles. In the name of Jesus. Connected to the God who doeth hard things. Meaning that there is no situation that the God that doeth hard things cannot resolve. With the God that doeth hard things, when he opens a door for you, no man can shut it.
Some clergymen and church members described his visit as a blessing for the state.
It's going to break every yoke of hardship in Kogi State. And I can assure you, from now, we will begin to draw water with joy from the well of salvation. You will understand with me that out of 38 mineral resources in the whole country, Kogi State alone has about 29 of it. And yet, we are still living in poverty. But by the grace of God, as the man of God stepped his feet on Kogi State, there shall be liberation in the name of Jesus.
And his coming is a big glory to us and a big impact that in Kogi State we will never forget it. And in MFM, Mountain of Fire and Miracle Ministry, and other churches in Kogi State, we will never forget.
After he has left now, we begin to witness the awesome testimony that will follow. So his visitations, the anointings, and the powers of God that are descended, a lot of things has happened. The yokes have been broken, bondages have been destroyed, of which we are going to see the manifestations later.
They advised people on the coming elections.
There's a song that said, "Who has the final say? Jehovah has the final say." So God has the final say. God is on the throne. He will decide. And whatever he decides, that's what his children will accept.
Every one of us should vote. That we should pray for peace to reign in Nigeria, and the God of peace will let his peace reign in this country in Jesus' name.
The Lord will give them the wisdom to pursue this election with fairness of mind, fearing God as the ultimate decider of power. And there's going to be a total transformation of the state from its present level to a very high level. I believe that God will do it because he has started it and he will perfect it.
We want the Lord to intervene. When the Lord is in the program, everything will go smoothly. We need prayers, and we are praying it. And we know the Lord is going to take absolute control of the coming election.
Government officials present used the opportunity to assure the people of peaceful conducted elections in the state.
Well, as a Christian and as a member of the State Executive Council, what I wish everybody is that there is going to be a peaceful election without any problem, without any rancor. And by the grace of God, this government is a God-fearing government. Despite whatever form of trouble that might want to come, our God is enough to take care of it.
Saying the Bible says, upon his shoulders are the governments of the earth. Let's not forget the place of God in the scheme of man. God is always interested in man, and the counsel of God will always stand. And this visit is, for me personally, is God saying, I have remembered Kogi State, and God will visit the land.
They called on the electorate and politicians to play the game of politics with the fear of God. Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello has promised to improve on already established developments on infrastructure and security, health and education sectors of the state. Governor Bello made the promise when he joined the Sultan of Sokoto, Mohammed Sahad Abubakar III, and President General Jamaatul Nasir Islam, JNI, at the official commissioning and launching of the Jamaatul Nasir Islam JNI complex, and to mark his 3 years in office as governor in Lokoja, the state capital. He said his journey and achievements so far are the results of support and encouragement got from royal fathers, religious leaders, security agents, and the majority of the people of Kogi State, and promised to stay committed to the common good of all.
With all the challenges that abound, today you will never see an Ibira man and an Igala man, or an Igala man and an Oku man fighting because of tribal difference or because of religious difference. That we've been able to achieve to a very great extent. And I urge all of you to please let us continue to tread on that path.
The Sultan of Sokoto used the opportunity of the luncheon to call on Nigerians to preach and demonstrate peace at all times.
We want to call on our political leaders to always do right, always hold justice as the main base of whatever they are going to do. And I think so far what I have read through the program here, what they said the government has been doing, when they give JNI a vehicle to give car, that is justice. When they give money to JNI to build something to give car, that is justice. So with that one, you can go your way. You won't pick at me as a religious bigot.
Other royal fathers present described Governor Bello's tenure of office as having many positives.
Politics that is wobbling. We have somebody, the president of Alaji Adoza Bello, I call him Adonga Bello, because he's keeping his promise and moving us forward.
No dialect, no language, nor do we begin to find ourselves because we're so different. We represent the unity of divine purpose, sanctified by the frontier of one voice of worship to Almighty Allah, who takes pleasure in fulfilling his benevolence on the one end of the field.
The Muslim Jamaat expressed their gratitude to the Sultan and the governor for making the complex launch a reality.
Let me appeal to every one of us that we should all join hands together to pray fervently to Almighty Allah for very successful election, peaceful election. We should all believe that power belongs to Allah, and He gives it to whom He wishes. We have no other place that we can run to. We should all conduct ourselves well before, during, and after the election.
The body has given appropriate responses to many anti-Islamic and inglorious hate speeches perpetrated in the media. If we do our job professionally, the other side will see that Islam is really a religion of peace.
The Sultan offers a guide for all Muslims in the country, and when he says something, all Muslims in this country are expected to follow suit. He is a preacher of peace, and anywhere he goes, he preaches peace between Muslims and other religious bodies.
He has come to see now the performance of Jamaat Nasr Islam in Kogi State. So that is a booster for the members of JNI in Kogi State. At least they need to work harder than more. It's an encouragement. For the leadership of Jamaat to even come to Kogi State, to even commission this project, I think has added impetus.
Prayers were rendered for Governor Bello's continued success in office. Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello says he is grateful for the support his administration has received from the state civil servants. Speaking at a gala night to mark his third year in office, Governor Bello promised to continue to deliver on his mandate to the people now and if elected for another term in office.
By the grace of God, we are going to light up Igala. We will continue on the infrastructures that are still going on there, the same in the west and in the central, as much as our finances and resources will permit. On the issue of salary, we will continue to do our best to ensure that we clear the salaries. By the grace of God, we will access the remaining 60% of our bailout. Issue of salary arrears will be a thing of the past. While I'm appealing to my brothers in the judiciary to come up their strike, because by the end of this January we shall pay another salary, and it will make it 5 months that judiciary on their own decided not to allow the poor people take their own salary. May God touch their hearts.
Secretary to the State Government Folashade Ayode Arike and other top government functionaries described Governor Yahaya Bello as a leader with a listening ear.
The new direction administration has worked relentlessly to fulfill our promises to the citizens of Kogi State through our policies, programs, and projects. We have ensured that the vision and mission of His Excellency has been translated into dividends of democracy for Kogi State citizens.
It's going to be what we call rounding up of all what had been started in this administration of 4 years. And His Excellency had said that before Kogi at 28, it shall be commissioning of projects across the length and breadth of Kogi State. So that will be the last 1 year. And once that is done, the good people of Kogi State would ask for more service from His Excellency.
We have security. Before, you would be afraid to go to sleep. But now in Kogi State, we have security, and that is the basis of governance. If there is no security, there will never be investment. Now that we have the security in place, the investors are coming in, and by the grace of God, before we finish the first tenure, you begin to see the dividend of democracy. And I'm happy that the people of Kogi State they are beginning to understand the essence of governance.
Today now, you can see what is happening in the agri sector. We have moved from a state where the head of our citizens were not concerned to our leaders, but today, GYB cares. We now attempt, we can continue on and on and on. God has been very faithful. We have a leader who has passion for the development of the state.
It was also a night, the third year compendium of achievements and plans for the current tenure of office was made public.
In my hands, that details what had happened in the last 1 year.
I won't tell us too many stories. We already know the 5 thematic areas of His Excellency's administration: education, health, job creation, infrastructure, civil service reform.
Night was spiced up with entertainment from established and upcoming performers. If you are just joining us, this is Kogi in Focus, a weekly review of happenings in and around Kogi State. For your updates, contributions, information, comments, and adverts placement, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Kogi in Focus TV. You can also reach us through our social media handles and phone numbers displayed on your screen. You can also visit our website, www.de-kogigoogle.prd.com for more information. Kogi State Government House staff said the emergence of Yaya Bello as the state governor brought sanity to the civil servant world. They promised to give their support for his re-election. The Director General of Government House Admin, Shuaibu Oricha, who made the promise, also encouraged youth and politicians to shun anything capable of causing violence among people.
We have various infrastructural facilities that's put in place: road, water, which I will not be able to mention all of them here. It cuts across the 3 secretarial districts. Some are ongoing. The only thing we need to do is he needs to do is to add more energy within the limited resources to complete this ongoing project. By the time these projects are completed, he has actually distributed amenities equally or equitably across the state level. I think one thing this regime has done is youth empowerment. The previous one, you see where youth are empowered with weapons for self-destruction. That is not the agenda of this regime. Whatever we have, we empower youth to be meaningful to themselves. We empower not even the youth, the aged, to be meaningful to themselves. By the time you have something to do, no politicians will use you for their selfish interests. So I want to advise that the 2019 election is less than 3 weeks now, and everybody should conduct it peaceably and make sure that we conduct this election without violence.
Some senior staff also commented.
To be very, very constructive. You know, His Excellency Alhaji Adoza Bello came at a point when the state was almost dilapidated. The structure of the state was almost dilapidating. But this man came putting in his energy because of his youthful disposition. He ensured that all the fragments were cemented together. The unity that was almost fading, he tried to strengthen the peace. And moreover, more importantly too, the security apparatus was collapsing. Not collapsing, has collapsed totally. This man came and metamorphosed the security apparatus of this state. Everywhere became peaceful. You can sleep in your house and close your 2 eyes. That was not applicable before.
A lot of what is not known then that the previous system could not bring out came out in this one, and in that respect it has really gone a long way to correct the anomalies. I believe if you have all your details complete, you won't have problem in the bank. You just go and you are cleared.
From me, as a staff, I need to put in my best. Just like what they have said. They said in whatever you are doing, put in your best. Even if the people around you are not ready to reward you, God in heaven will definitely reward you when your time comes.
I'm so happy for this wonderful gathering. At least it has brought love between each and every one of us. I see that in Government House, we don't believe in tribalism. We work together as one. There is no Igala, no Okun and Igbira. We are all one.
Awards of excellence were given to some selected staff.
God bless you and it's your family. Thank you very much.
time to watch highlights of Governor Bello's achievements in the last 3 years.
There was a great year of expectation when Alhaji Yahya Adoza Bello was sworn in as the 4th Executive Governor of Kogi State on 27th January 2016. The intrigues that led to his emergence make up a story that is familiar to political watchers within and beyond Nigeria's confluent state. What may not be so familiar to many is the monumental tax set for the then 41-year-old chartered accountant and graduate of the Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. As challenging as the tax of the last 3 years has been, Governor Bello, in the face of limited resources, has gone about the business of governance in a methodical and professional manner, ensuring that no sector is left out. This is spelled out in the blueprint tagged New Direction Agenda. And after 3 years of his administration, there is enough evidence on ground to show that Governor Bello is working. Prior to Yahya Bello's assumption of office, the welfare of the state civil servant was a monumental problem for previous administrations, to the extent that Governor Bello inherited a salary arrears burden to the tune of 20 billion naira from his predecessor, Idris Wada. The situation was compounded by the existence of thousands of ghost workers fraudulently eating into the state's limited resources. Governor Bello swung into immediate action with the introduction of a series of workers' reform policies that unearned thousands of ghost workers and unintended earners on the state payroll. It came as no surprise when these novel reforms created doubts and misconceptions in the minds of skeptics. But that all changed when the state government took its reforms a step further with the introduction of the biometric data capture system to further cleanse the payroll of illegal beneficiaries. In a show of practicing what he preached, Governor Yahya Bello submitted himself to the same biometric data capture to enable him earn his salary.
First, we are cleaning the system and then building a database for the future. There can't be any meaningful development without planning. Then you need data for planning. And then the system is built in such a way that it respects nobody. Whoever you are, starting from the number one citizen of the state, you must be captured. Because the resources of the state is being used to pay your salary. And aside that, there are several other benefits that will be accrued to all the workers, starting from myself down to the last worker in Kogi State. Your contributory pension scheme that we want to start, the National Health Insurance Scheme, the National Housing Scheme, and several others. So we must build a data in Kogi State that will outlive this particular administration, and it will continue to serve the people of Kogi State.
At present, hundreds of checks are lying unclaimed in some state ministries, departments, and agencies, a sign that the reform is indeed serving its intended purpose.
Lots of revelations. As we speak, we have over 400 checks that are yet to be collected. The checks are there waiting for beneficiaries in courts to come and collect them. They are nowhere to be found.
As the Excellency said earlier, it's not a respecter of anybody. The system cannot be bribed. The system is not a human being. So we will know. We've seen in the record captured so far that there are duplications here and there.
Security was another huge challenge Governor Bello faced on assumption of office. Kogi State was fast becoming a kidnapper's haven until Governor Bello swung into action. He began in his hometown in Kogi Central, where he ordered the demolition of structures belonging to kidnappers and other crime kingpins. He also took the bulldozers to other parts of the state where property belonging to these people of the underworld were flattened and criminals unmasked.
We are getting them. I really have to express my appreciation to the Nigerian Army, the police, the DSS, the civil defense, and all other paramilitary organizations in this state for a job well done. The criminals are living amongst us. They live in the bush, they move along the highway. A display of professionalism, efficiency, and effectiveness is yielding result in Kogi State. Security is everybody's business. We must be vigilant at all times. My administration will not condone any form of criminality, either motivated by politics or any other motivation whatsoever. Criminality is criminality. We are not going to condone them. This is just the beginning. Wherever they are, we are going to smoke them out. We will get them here in Kogi State and within the environ.
Governor Bello also ordered the engagement of thousands of state vigilantes equipped with arms, ammunition, and security aids to ensure that peace, security, law and order is maintained. The tenacity and political will with which Governor Bello handled the various security challenges, which was further compounded by the farmer-herdsman crisis, earned him the award as the best governor on security matters from Nigeria Police, Daily Times, The New Telegram, and many others. Governor Bello is not finished with the security matters, as he recently commissioned the Quick Security Response Center with state-of-the-art VGS software.
We are building on our capacity every day, and we know that the issue of security, tackling security, is not just manual. We have to go technological. So we're introducing technology in fighting crimes in Kogi State as we speak, and this is going to only improve on the level of security that we have in the state. As it is right now, every citizen, I am advising every citizen to have this particular app, VGS app, in his phone, so that wherever there's any crime, you are being attacked, or you see somebody being attacked, or there's any crime happening anywhere, all you need to do is just to swipe, and then the rescue team, the security operatives will be there at your disposal.
The importance of education cannot be overemphasized in any given society. The Kogi State government is mindful of this, which has led to the introduction of a number of education-related initiatives and the construction of schools and other facilities. Governor Bello has completed and commissioned a number of these, and there are a number of others at various stages of completion. Health, they say, is wealth. And if the popular saying is anything to go by, then the indigents and residents of Kogi State have become wealthier in the last 3 years through the efforts of the GYB Healthcare Plus, the bed name given to the health sector revolution taking place in Kogi State. Using the state's sustainable development goals as a yardstick, Governor Bello has constructed cottage hospitals, refurbished and rehabilitated health centers and state hospitals across the state. No commentary on Kogi State's health sector will be complete without mentioning the complementary efforts from the office of the First Lady, Rashida Bello, through her foundation. The Rashida Bello Foundation has in the last few months embarked on a series of life-touching medical outreaches in which hundreds of urban and rural communities across the state benefited. Governor Yahaya Bello, in his 3 years in the saddle, has also made his impact felt in the state's agriculture sector. He provided youths and other persons interested in agriculture to do the business the modern way. He also revived the Omidam in Kogi West, which now grows and pads rice in thousands of tons. Kogi State's agriculture story will not be complete without mentioning the one-of-a-kind grain farm in Osara. Produce from the grain farm is being sold in markets across and beyond Nigeria.
The way to go now is farming. Everybody should go to farm because that is where the money is. If you have something like this, you can, every day of your life, you know you cannot be poor. You'll be making money, and that is what. And the facilities, this is just a pilot project. We are coming to erect 10 more of these in this same location. And we intend to also take it to the other senatorial districts. Once we are done with here, we move to other senatorial districts.
If there is one piece of evidence of Governor Yahaya Bello's commitment to the people's welfare, it is in the area of road infrastructure development. Throughout the 3 senatorial districts and within the many towns and hamlets, key roads networks have sprung up under Governor Bello's watch. The road development revolution has gladdened the hearts of many, including royalty in the state.
The administration have passed, they promised and failed. Yet this is being realized in our time. And I tell you, within 6 months, this road will be completed. I think they are going. So I'm so happy. In fact, I feel like trekking on it. Look at it, because I'm so happy.
Whether it is federal road or state road, we must award it.
Thank you, sir. Your Excellency.
Whether the federal government will fund us or not, we must do something quickly on this road.
Thank you, sir.
You have road that leads from
you have solved our problem with
yes, sir. We will equally award it.
Yes, sir.
By the grace of God.
Thank you, sir.
Once we'll do that, then agriculture starts all over.
Thank you, sir.
I made this road like this. I made this road like this for 48 years.
For long we've been crying to the government to help us because this is the only access road, major road in Igala land, linking between Ida to Anyigba, and now it has been washed away by erosion. And we thank God that to us as a community here, we have seen that the government is helping by, the tech company around with their material to start the work, the project.
Still on infrastructure development in the state, Governor Yahaya Bello has turned darkness to light in many communities through the provision of power. Some of these communities had been without electricity in some cases for more than 20 years. This testimony is from a community in Cotton Karufi.
We thank Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of the state, for making the promise and fulfill it. At least in this community we can be joyful that at least we have light. In darkness, there's a broad light for us now.
Before light no day, I thank God light don't take. That's why they happy. God, I wish, pray to God, hallelujah.
Well, for more than 20 years. Then they connect us with one light in Abuja. When they bring light today, it will spend 1 week, 3 weeks, 4 weeks before we get once again. So today we are happy with the Alhaji Yahaya Bello. And by the special grace of God, we are going to beg the Youth Council, National Youth Council of Nigeria, the Kogi State chapter and the 21 local government chapter to keep behind the new direction government so that we can be able to gain more dividends of democracy down straight to the people that we are representing.
Thousands of youths are engaged through Youth Employment and Social Support Operation YESO and Empower federal programs in the state.
Thank the state government and the World Bank. Thank you.
And I believe with the words of YESO, of encouraging us on how, let me say, all those crafts of a thing, handworks. So I believe I will benefit from it.
A clean and healthy environment is also of paramount importance to the Yahaya Bello's administration. The state capital, Lokoja, its environs, and other towns and cities are wearing a different look through the engagement of thousands of youths to keep the streets and highways clean.
Yeah, you can see from the little I know, and he has done a lot. If you notice, he has engaged us first and foremost to do the street cleaning and the janitorial services of most of the offices in Kogi State here. And you can see that, of course, the entire state and Lokoja metropolis is clean and tidy. That alone, we're very, very grateful. And you can see everybody here. We're well over 1,200. They have been fully employed.
Moving youth from the street, giving them job. We have about more than 3,000 cleaners on the street. Both the young one and the older ones there, I believe they are on the streets working. The present administration, they are doing well.
Policy of the government on environmental cleaning, I think Kogi State is really taking a very bold step in the right direction. Particularly for the policy or for the idea of environmental cleaning at the last week of every month that has been enhanced now over some time. And I think it has really gone a long way.
I can say in Kogi State presently is that the government are really working. As you can see, all this area back for the days are always used to be dirty. But right now the place is very neat and we thank God for that.
There is another popular saying that to whom much is given, much is expected. Governor Yahya Bello has promised to deliver on his mandate and not betray the trust people showed in him by voting him into office a little more than 3 years ago. He has admonished for a call for the people to reciprocate his efforts by supporting his administration and remaining law-abiding. And while indigents and residents of Kogi State look to the future with hope, they can look at the last 3 years and say for a fact that Governor Bello is working.
This is where we draw the curtain on today's edition of Kogi in Focus. Do join us next week, same time, same station, for another episode. And do not forget to do unto others what you want them to do to you. I'm Oluwatosin Usuji. Bye for now.